Good evening, I'm Caroline Searcy. After decades of heartbreak, the Swans will finally bring the AFL Premiership Cup back to Sydney after beating the West Coast in one of the most thrilling grand finals in recent years. After leading by 20 points at half-time, the tenacious Swans held off a big late challenge from the Eagles to claim the flag by 4 points in front of almost 92,000 fans.
Welcome. One day in September, but like no ordinary day. Above, within, and below the MCG, the atmosphere for AFL Grand Final Day was passionate and palpable. The season spoils delivered by Seahawk helicopter, shining brightly like the stars from home and away, as the build-up to the battle for the 2005 flag continued. Australia's athletes from next year's Melbourne Commonwealth Games took to the track, as those who've given so much to Australian rules football farewelled their careers. Their legacy in the safest of hands as the Swans entered the grand final arena in quest of their first premiership in 72 years. Their last victory in 1994, West Coast made their way onto the G and got straight to work. The Eagles' first entry on the score sheet.
And now Nikoski can have the first shot of the grand final, and he drills it.
Familiar with every blade of grass on the MCG, former Demon Darren Jolly then levelled for the red and whites.
And he kicks the Sydney Siders' first goal on the big day.
But the Eagles counterpunched harder as towering All-Australian ruckman Dean Cox charged into the forward line.
Did he go all the way from a long way? Oh, this is a magnificent effort. He's done it.
Suddenly, the West Coast wheels began to wobble. Already without Phil Matera, they were stung by an ankle injury to Daniel Kerr, before Adam Schneider kicked the Swans' second major. At quarter time, they led by 2, thanks to Barry Hall.
Sydney in front.
The second quarter was all Sydney. O'Loughlin.
Again, he stabs at the ball, but that's good enough.
Then Ty Kennelly.
That'll get him going in Ireland. He's put it through.
His family celebrating in County Kerry Island. Adam Goods then gave the Swans a 39-19 lead at half-time. West Coast total, the equal lowest half-time score in 45 years. Embarrassed or just shocked at their state of play, the Eagles made changes to their personnel and attitude in the third quarter, which saw them storm back into contention.
Hansen's nailed it!
Adam Hunter's goal from the acutest of angles, placing them within 2 of Sydney at the final break.
I tell you what, he might have nailed it. He has!
West Coast momentum continued like a runaway train in the last quarter, helped by a kick across his own goal, which may haunt Luke Ablett forever. Ben Cousins with a gift 6 points.
For the first time since the first quarter, Eagles are in front.
When Hunter made the impossible look possible again, it was one-way traffic heading west.
The Eagles got 10 points.
But Barry Hall sent it into reverse to get Sydney back within 4.
It's a magnificent kick.
Then, like a burglar in broad daylight, clever midfielder Amon Buchanan burst through the pack to put the Swans' necks back in front.
Buchanan puts them in front!
The final minutes felt as long as the entire season for players and fans alike, as the Swans clung to a 4-point lead. Then, in the final second, Leo Barry produced a moment which will go down forever in AFL folklore.
One last roll of the dice for the Eagles! Leo Barry, you star! Bob Murray reincarnate. The longest premiership drought in football history is over! For the first time in 72 years, the Swans are champions of the AFL!
In what is already being called the mark of the century around the harbour city, Barry's leap sealed Sydney an extraordinary 58 points to 54 victory, its first flag since moving north in 1982. West Coast loss compensated somewhat, with Chris Judd receiving the Norm Smith Medal for best on ground. As they prepared for the long trip home, the new champion soaked it up, laughing and launching into what is certain to be a raucous celebration spanning all the way from South Melbourne to Sydney.
I think it just puts an exclamation mark on the Sydney Swans. We're no longer the only team that hasn't won a premiership. We're now a premiership team. I mean, I don't think that can be understated. how significant that is. You know, Sydney Swans Footy Club, 2005 premiers. That'll be there forever.
But we looked on there, you know, when Luke Ablett kicked across the goal, and you know they had all the momentum, and just the character of the guys to come back and never give in, and it's been like that all year. So it's a real credit to the players.
Well, I thought it was just a great grand final, just two teams hard at it, tough, no quarter given, no quarter asked. They had the ebbs and flows of footy, and I just thought it was a great game.
I could go through my whole footy career and name all the tough incidents. This is one of them. You know, we prepared well, we gave it our best shot.
And it's pretty difficult for everyone at the minute, but it's just something we've got to deal with, and you know, hopefully we'll grow from it and be better for it as a club.
There was controversy even before the first bounce of the grand final with the naming of the AFL Goal of the Year.
Arguably the biggest upset of AFL Grand Final Day came with the announcement of the Goal of the Year.
That is as good as it gets.
Very clever from 50 on the wrong side. Nathan Brown goes for goal. That is brilliant.
Got on the half volley. Back to Canelli. This could be one of the goals of the season. He lines it up. Oh boy, that's as good as it gets.
Michael comes in to lend a hand. Johnson's dangerous from here. Oh, what a goal, Brett Johnson!
Marnie, the two. He's got inside. Gets around.
Carlton veteran Alex Jesaulenko had the honour of picking Mark of the Year, and he didn't disappoint.
I go for the one to go the high. That's what young kids dream about, getting high, and I gave it to him.